I'd like to introduce our panelists this morning. First, hello, Louise Murphy.
Morning, everyone.
Louise has lots of experience in running national and local marketing for some big brands. She was most recently marketing director for Citroën in Ireland and now runs her own marketing consultancy. And Peter, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Peter is MD at We Are Acuity, and he spent much of his career operating in the marketing space between brands and their networks of local business partners or franchisees. We Are Acuity, localization and personalization are our key tactics. And my name's Tony Searle, also from Acuity, and I'm going to try to not click the wrong buttons. This is all a bit new for me. First off, some quick housekeeping notes. If you have any questions, please submit them in the webinar pane and we'll try to get to them. We've taken some questions already through registration, which we've added to the deck here. If we can't get to them, we're happy to answer them offline after we finish here. So where do I begin? First of all, let's look at how we've so quickly found ourselves in this extraordinary situation. Some of you are working from home, some not working at all. Maybe your business is closed temporarily. It's worrying and confusing. And all we hear is the business jargon of pivoting, being agile, lean operations, deep diving, or whatever else gets on your nerves. All this language can be quite detached. And it ignores the fact that we're all just people trying our best to cope. Our family, friends, employees, clients, and suppliers, they're all in the same boat mostly. And each of us trying to do our bit to get through, literally day by day. Imagine how awful it is for those really on the front line fighting this with their own lives. And yes, we're concerned about the issues that are somewhat outside of our control, but we've suddenly had to focus on those issues that are under our control, just our simplest and most basic needs, more than we ever have before, really. And control is the key word. Viktor Frankl, who survived a concentration camp in World War II and wrote A Man's Search for Meaning, once said, forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess, except for one thing, your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. And that's apt even now, I think. So you can control what social media you pay attention to, how much news you watch or read, how you fuel your body and keep it exercised, which people you engage with. You also have control over your attitude and perspective, how you show up. And it's the same for business. What is in your control right now? Because that's where you can make a difference, both now and on the way out. So before we get to that first question, I'd like to conduct a quick poll so we can see exactly what type of audience we have today. At local level, we often find that the person responsible for marketing has many hats to wear. So let me just set this poll. And if you could answer this as honestly as possible, just to give us some idea. Okay, that's interesting. Let me share those results. As you can, I don't know if you can see them. Can you see the results?
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah.
It's mainly or totally. So there's quite a few people who are doing marketing full time, but quite a few that aren't. And as I was saying before, at local level, that is quite typical. So on to our first question. We had a few like this. We're closed until further notice. Why advertise? It sort of covers everything in one go, really. I think the word advertise refers.
I think the poll is still showing, is it?
Oh, is it? Sorry. Has that gone away now?
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yep, that's it.
I think the word advertise here is, it suggests that this person is thinking about advertising to people who are in market. Unfortunately for them, most people are not in market. It's the people who aren't buying right now that local businesses tend to ignore. And as hardly any of us are able to buy anything at the moment, it's essential that we look at tactics that are aimed elsewhere. Peter, can I ask you to get started on this topic, the whole of the customer journey?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Tony. So to help with today's Q&A, based on the questions that we've been sent, this is definitely worth looking at. So the customer's entire journey, so the way to purchase is vital, not just the buying stage. So let me explain how we at Acuity tackle this for our clients and the local marketing departments. We divide the customer journey into 4 very distinct stages. And we call those see, think, do, and care. So the C stage is all about awareness. So the activity in the C stage is aimed at prospects who, for a big ticket item, may be a year or more away from buying. And for local marketeers, that means awareness of your own business. You want prospects to see that you're there so that they'll know when it eventually does come to purchase time. Then we move on to the think stage, which is often known as the consideration stage. And this is all about building your reputation. So at this point, prospects are coming close to purchase. They'll probably have a short list and they'll be thinking ahead of which stores they might want to visit. And you want them to think of you first in a very positive light. Then we move on to the do stage. And this is the place where most local marketeers normally spend all of their time and money. It's where prospects do start buying. So all the marketing activity tends to be about offers, prices, and promotions. Of course, at the moment, that's probably not appropriate. And in a moment, we'll discuss where you can refocus instead. And then finally, onto the care stage. This is all about customer retention and loyalty. Showing your customers that you really care about having them as customers. And it can be the most rewarding stage of all if it's handled properly. Again, this stage needs very little in terms of spend, but certainly needs time and imagination. And in a lockdown, of course, we have plenty of that time.
Yeah, that's true. Let me just butt in here, Peter. We had a question sent in yesterday that's relevant to all of that. And it kind of goes back to answering the first question too. How will anybody see the marketing we do? And I think what's important is to be visible where people are looking at the moment, particularly if those are places that you're not usually promoting yourself. It's quite possible that your marketing won't be seen if you haven't reviewed the messaging and media placements to suit your current offering and your prospects' current needs. If your marketing has historically been focused on the do stage, and it's usually offer-based, and you're in a sector that's trading normally, then just carry on. According to a very recent Facebook survey, 71% of the UK population, they're not against advertising continuing. But they also found that 3/4 of us would react quite badly to any kind of marketing activity that looked to be profiteering or taking advantage unnecessarily. Marketing messages from only 4 or 5 weeks ago that you've put out there, they could look wildly out of place at the moment, so check everything. Most local outlets or small businesses will need to radically change their local marketing activity. Whilst they might not be trading normally at the moment, now is the time to increase their activities in the see, think, and care stages, where, as Peter said, we often see they're badly lagging behind. This way, they'll be in pole position as we transition back to more regular trading. 918% of us are more bored than they've ever been. This was my favourite stat from Facebook survey. There are lots of people out there looking for interesting, relevant, and useful content. Can your local business be in a position to make it available? So I think what we've decided to do is take each stage of the customer journey that Peter described one at a time, and point out what we think you could be doing there. Louise, in the C stage or awareness stage, as it's often called, what can what can local marketers be doing right now?
Thanks, Tony. Yes, so the C stage is the first engagement with the future customer. And this is all about building awareness. We all buy from businesses, brands, and people that we know and trust. So you have to get to know and build your awareness with your target audience. The objective here is that when your customer is ready to purchase, once these restrictions are lifted, then you will be top of mind for them. The advice is particularly relevant for businesses that are closed right now and cannot sell their products or services as normal. This is an opportunity to focus on the C stage. Now, typical activities here would normally include events, sponsorships, and open days, which are clearly not possible right now. So you have to be creative and use whatever channels are available to you to get your message out there. So, for instance, if you do have local sponsorships, is there something that you can do together? Can you, for instance, mobilize volunteers from your local rugby club to offer a delivery of free cupcakes to the elderly, within the government guidelines, of course, but something like that really promotes your sponsorship and shows that you're still supporting the local community. And that's what it's all about, community. The message you communicate and the actions you take now will really demonstrate to your target audience what your company values are. 78% of people want help with daily life right now, and 34% of people want to learn a new skill. So is there some way your business can help them? I've seen some great examples of this locally. For instance, there's some car dealerships offering free service to healthcare staff, and my local Thai takeaway is offering free online cooking classes. So have a think about, is there something that you can do to help? We've seen many towns and cities that are offering curated sites that businesses can join with some great ideas for the community. This is one called the Edinburgh Lockdown Economy. So what might you be able to offer in your own location? Remember, these actions are not about immediate revenue, but it paints a picture for customers for what you really stand for. Finally, these activities need to be communicated to your target audience, and social media and local PR are low-cost ways to achieve that. Social media activity is up by over 70%. Think about it, everyone is on their phones more. I'm sure you are yourself. And people are looking for good news stories to spread some optimism too.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I really like those ideas. I like that business communities are getting themselves organized like this really quickly and so professionally. The Edinburgh website, which curates those opportunities, it's brilliant. In fact, our own local community in Watford have done a similar thing, which has been led by the council, actually. They have a website which again puts all kinds of resources and opportunities together in one place. It's all about collaboration right now, and seeing local businesses collaborate with one another. I think it's brilliant. It's definitely the future. So onwards, Peter, can you talk us through the think stage activities, please?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony. So, as you know, local managers are often telling me that they just don't have time to keep their marketing house in order. So, as Tony's showed in the survey, often marketing people were juggling all sorts of other tasks at the same time. So they'll often struggle to keep websites fully up to date. They might have social channels, but they can't remember when they last really updated them. For some reason, these things are never given enough time and energy at local level. But right now, they are more important than ever before. So from a housekeeping perspective, let's at least all go out and get these things done as soon as possible, ideally straight after this presentation. So for example, your Google My Business entry. Now, if you don't know what it is, look it up as soon as we've finished here. If you've never taken control of your own entry, you might be quite shocked at what it looks like. Here's a great example that I found myself locally. I was searching for kitchens and I got the local Howdens and Dewsons. But it looks like Howdens haven't adopted their entries, so Google have tried their best to automatically do it by using Street View photos. That's really not great, is it? And I believe Google have automatically changed everybody's opening hours to closed at the moment. And if you're open, that's really not great. So go out and check your reviews as well, not just on Google, but wherever you've got them and wherever they're relevant to your business. If there are bad ones, don't just leave them there, answer them. It really helps your reputation if you keep these things up to date and are honest and personable as well, because really people are looking for reassurance right now. The report that Tony talked about, Facebook is saying that 75% of people just want to know what your business is doing right now. So use your social channels and your website to post new, relevant and localized information about the current situation. On top of all of this, take the time that you have available at last to really get to grips with channels you're not confident with. And with most people, that tends to be digital. If this virus becomes the main driver of you and your business's digital transformation, then something really positive will have come out of this. Facebook has a huge library of learning resources available for businesses that are just like yours, and they'll take you step by step through everything that you need to do, both on Facebook, Instagram. It's all about the brand building, reputation enhancement, and the correct posting of social. The same is true of LinkedIn and Twitter. There's just a host of stuff out there, and we'll send you some great links for this right at the end of the presentation. Over to you, Louise.
Thanks, Peter. So moving on to the do stage, and like Peter said at the start, this is where local marketeers usually focus their efforts. So if your business is still operating, the advertising you do probably needs to be tweaked. There are channels we usually recommend in the do stage that you can see here. So website, PPC, social media like Facebook, your emails, your radio, your digital and your print. But it's quite likely that if you are operating, you've had to change your business in some way and you're not trading normally as such. So you need to review all of your usual activity, especially your activity that is always on in the background, and make sure that it is relevant for what you are doing now. It's surprising how many people have yet to do this, and in fairness may not have had the time to do it yet, but it's really important to take care of this. So for instance, we came across this company called Plant Savers, who are still operating, but in a very different way. These guys have got a great site together, and they're helping garden centres to sell and gardeners to buy safely and within government guidelines. It's innovative thinking, and it's exactly what is suggested that is needed right now. So even on the very basic things like signage at your premises, if you have a retail premises, and this applies whether you're open or closed, it is really important to have information available if somebody arrives at your front door. Tell them what you're doing, get your poster up, but do it smartly. I think the example on the left is the one we all want to avoid. And you can see on the right-hand side there, if your showroom is closed, you have an opportunity to drive your traffic online. You still have a digital showroom that can be used. So that's where your traffic needs to go now. Over to you,
Good,
Tony.
thanks, Louise. That's really good examples there, especially the one on the left. Thank you. On to the next question, which kind of completes the customer journey, really. I want to hang on to every customer I can. Any tips? Well, I'd like to say looking at your existing CRM plan and modifying it to be situation aware would be a good place to start. But I know not everybody will have a plan, especially at local level. So now might be a good time to start looking at your strategy for planning. If you want to be visible in every stage of the customer journey, you need to map it out and how that might look. It doesn't have to be detailed. Peter, in the care stage, which is how people hang on to their customers, what should local marketers be doing now?
Thanks, Tony. Well, the first thing is don't ignore them. They're still out there. So let's go back to the beginning of this chat. We're all just people at the end of the day. So why not ask them how they're doing, like you would a friend, with no commercial side to the message at all. And tell them how you're doing. This is all about community right now. Either your local community or your own business community. It's a great opportunity to get closer. And it's a great opportunity to publicly tell the world how proud you are of your own staff. This kind of thing means a lot to you and your customers. And don't ignore their order or meeting or inquiry. If there's something outstanding with them, personalize your message. Why not text them rather than email? It will feel much more human. A call would be even better. And be honest, don't oversell or underdeliver. And finally, introduce your customers to your social channels. Now you're up to speed with them, of course. Get them to like you or follow you. Become really local and become part of the community.
Good. Thanks, Peter and Louise. That covered the customer journey perfectly and set out some interesting ways to interpret it during lockdown. And yes, Peter, going back to the point you just made, I think recognizing your colleagues, like the milk company there, is really important. And communications like that are valid at all times, not just now. And I think that's one of the learnings that will come out of this. I've just posted up here the blank template that we use with our clients when it comes to planning. It's really as simple as this. We set them out as quarterlies so that these things are doable in one session, and we literally get them to plan out each activity in all the areas. So in the C stage, the awareness stage, what are they doing about that? Have they got any events planned? And we get them to put it in. In the think stage, are they keeping their website up to date? Have they checked all their reviews? Is Google My Business all in place? And just putting those spots in. The do stage, they love that, all their ads and their offers. And the care stage, again, little reminders that they can send out, seasonal things, all kinds of ways of keeping in touch with the clients. Normally, there's nothing in any of that except just the pink bits. So that's the way you can really see big holes that are missing. Anyway, sorry, on to another question. Should I still be spending on search? We've had a couple of search and PPC questions. Obviously, only you know your business, but if you're in a sector that is virtually closed down, then maybe shift some of your spend elsewhere. Certainly, you'd need to review the terms you're using if you've altered your trading in some way. But some sectors have seen a big uplift. I'm going to put this over to Louise to talk about. Louise?
Yes, thanks, Tony. Well, in my view, should you keep spending on search? The short answer would be yes, but your campaigns need to be reviewed. So some sectors where demand is up, it's very logical that the volume of search will be up. So a couple of examples I've seen here would be things like greeting cards online, gift baskets, flowers. People are still looking for solutions for presents, and some more obvious ones like local pharmacies and home office equipment. You know, that's seen a big rise in activity recently. But one interesting one would be the health and beauty sector, in particular hairdressers, beauticians, nail parlors. There's a 40% increase in search terms here. So while at a retail level, these outlets are closed, there's actually an increase in people looking for a solution online for these services. So if you're in that space, have a real think about how you can help your customers at this time. So overall, I'd suggest three main things really. One, check the message that you have out there, check your ad copy in detail. Does it still say visit our showroom if your showroom is closed, for instance? Secondly, review the keywords. So there may be some new keywords for your sector that are relevant now that weren't 3 months ago. So if you sell paint, for instance, you may not have thought that local paint delivery online would be relevant, but it's very relevant now. And thirdly, think about your audience. Has there been a shift in your target audience? So if you're a catering company that normally supplies to the corporate sector, but you've now started to deliver family meals for locally cocooned families or people working at home, you need to update your demographics and your geographical targeting so that you get the best return for your investment on search. So in short, yes, keep spending, but definitely review your campaigns. It's very important.
Brilliant, thanks. And this question, do you run social media courses? I had to put it in, it caught my eye. because I thought, here's a lady that's really keen to use this time to improve her marketing skills and be ready for the exit from this stage and into the uplift. We do run one-to-one courses for businesses across all media channels. It's what we do. But right now there are a lot of resources available from all the social apps that tell you exactly how to use them for business in all stages of the customer journey too. We've prepared a handout with some great links for you, and as I said, if you can't download that from the panel, we'll send it on afterwards. And just a quick thought from me on Twitter. Twitter is a really underused channel by local business. I think mainly because it doesn't offer an obvious advertising opportunity to promote an offer. But remember, as we've described here, local marketing isn't just about offers. You should use Twitter to engage with your community. It's an awareness tool, really. And there's a great hashtag on there at the moment called hashtag local hero, where your business can take part in relevant conversations around you and in your own community. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's little chat. We believe passionately there are some great opportunities for local businesses right now, but don't forget, as owners or business managers, to take some time for yourself. That's important. Perhaps think about ways you can make little differences to your targeting in future, as well as looking at all your ways of working. You never know, you might have time to consider little improvements. And do all this in bite-sized chunks. Give yourself little targets. We've spoken a lot about digital transformation here, which we think for local business is really important at the moment, but don't be overwhelmed. Learn LinkedIn next week and maybe segment your database the week after. Making small gains along the way really will help your psyche. And if you would like a one-to-one chat about these topics or anything else, local or marketing, we've kind of got all the time in the world at the moment to help out. We have had one or two questions on the poll. We are out of time, unfortunately, but we will get back and answer those afterwards. Thanks very much for coming today.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.